But after these 8 years of contact, I would quote a famous sentence said by John Fitzgerald Kennedy, standing at the beginning of the 60s at the Berlin Wall, when he said, "Ich bin ein Berliner." So I could say with him, I am a Taiwanese, because you deserve that we stand behind you. Taiwan and Slovakia went a hard way until we became democracies. And as we in Czechoslovakia had been members of so-called camp of peace and socialism behind the barbed wire under the hand of the big brother called Soviet Union, so I was, since my youngest age, somehow vaccinated against totalitarian suppression of human rights, freedoms, and democracy. So it was a clear decision for me to stand behind Taiwan, which is permanently in a hard situation of endangered country, which is prosperous, democratic, hardworking 23 million of people that are in the world, in different organizations, set aside, set somehow and not accepted fairly as any other country in the world. So I see and saw it as my duty to do best possible that I could to introduce the fact that you, 23 million of Taiwanese, deserves equal treatment like people from Sweden, Spain, Austria, or Slovakia. That's why I'm somehow fighting for the fact that your embassy in Bratislava, which is now led by David Lee, who did a lot for building bridges between our countries, couldn't be named embassy. And he is not ambassador, he is representative. And that's totally unfair, because as any other representative of any country, he deserves to be ambassador. And your flag should hang on the building where is your representative office. That is why when Lithuania, and it was a heroic act, few months ago, changed the name of your representative office, I would expect that the democratic world would do in 14 days the same, and if all democratic countries would do the same step, the criminal regime in China could do nothing against it. And that's why I could say what we and you need is a unity behind the idea of protecting democracy, independence, and human rights. So you in your country and the rest of the democratic world should stand behind your rights to be accepted as a full standard country in the world, starting with Olympic Committee and ending with the World Health Organization or any other world organization, United Nations, UNESCO, what you like. So I am doing it now step by step, and I am not a god on earth who could do it. But after these 8 years of contact, I would quote a famous sentence said by John Fitzgerald Kennedy, standing at the beginning of the 60s at the Berlin Wall, when he said, "Ich bin ein Berliner." So I could say with him, I am a Taiwanese, because you deserve that we stand behind you.
To be honest, I'm really surprised, because I knew that Taiwan is a developed country, I knew Taiwan is a democracy, but I'm surprised from in two ways. Because firstly, I thought about Taiwan as a traditional society, traditional state, because as Asian countries usually are. But I'm really surprised by the level of your democracy, by the high level of your human rights. And to be honest, Slovakia has much to learn from Taiwan in the field of democracy and human rights. I'm surprised by the high level of representation of women in politics, but also in judiciary. I'm also surprised that Taiwan has a female president who is very well educated, very intelligent and wise. I'm also surprised about the level of the LGBT rights in Taiwan. That's something that Slovakia is lacking. And the other way I'm surprised is that the level of technological advance and is really surprising, because I can feel the immense pressure on Taiwan from China, and there are two ways how to cope with pressure. One is to give up, because I imagine must be extremely difficult to face a country that is 50 times the size of Taiwan and is saying and is waving this aggressive rhetoric about forceful integration of Taiwan into China and doesn't recognize Taiwan and pressures other countries not to recognize Taiwan. So it's immense pressure, but despite all of this, despite all these threats, Taiwan not only managed to be a stable democracy with human rights, but managed to be a success story in Southeast Asia. A story about how country can be democratic, free, and prosperous. And that is something that I really, really admire. Taiwan has my huge respect, and I have to be sincere again. I'm also surprised how kind and warm Taiwanese people are. So hats off to Taiwan, and as all this delegation, I will always support Taiwan. There's something all of the democratic world should do right now in facing Ukraine war, because we must never allow another authoritarian country to invade a weaker and free neighbor.